I was fined $4,000 by our HOA for unauthorized hunting. The funny thing? I was on my own inherited land. No warning, no due process, just a fat letter accusing me of endangering the community. So I fought back, not by yelling, not with lawyers, but with a purchase they never saw coming. Because what they didn't know is I had the deed to the surrounding wilderness, and I was done playing their games. And when I locked them out of their own hiking trail, they panicked. The fine, the fight, the flip. The letter that started it all. It was a cold Thursday morning when I opened a thick envelope from Willow Grove HOA. Inside, notice of violation. Unauthorized hunting on protected HOA grounds. Fine, $4,000. Violation code 3.6a. Discharge of weapons on HOA-owned land. Deadline, 7 days. Except there was one big problem. I wasn't on their land. I was hunting on my grandfather's old 60-acre woodland, fully outside HOA jurisdiction. I'd inherited it a year ago, just outside the neighborhood's plotted zone, but still accessible through an old, informal trail the HOA maintained. Turns out they didn't like the sound of rifles near their hiking yoga sessions. I showed up to the hearing with a map. They held a formal hearing the next Monday. I walked into the meeting hall with boots still muddy from the woods, carrying 3 key documents: a satellite map of the boundary lines, the county's zoning records, and my official deed to the hunting property. Karen, yes, her real name was Karen, smirked as I laid the files down. "This doesn't concern land ownership," she said. "It's about safety and decorum. Your actions disturbed 5 nearby residents." I leaned forward and replied, "Then maybe you shouldn't have built homes near an active wildlife corridor." The votes were rigged, but I had a backup plan. Despite the evidence, the HOA board unanimously upheld the fine. Of course they did. They'd been using my inherited access road for their community nature trail for years. Now that I was using it for something they didn't like, they wanted control. But what they didn't realize? I wasn't just some deer hunter with a truck. I was also a land developer's son, with a pending deal to buy up 3 adjacent parcels they thought were still public. Within a week, I closed on the 90 acres surrounding their favorite trailhead. They used to hike through it every Saturday morning. That Saturday, they found the gate locked. Panic at the HOA Karen blew up my phone. I ignored her. She sent an email titled "Urgent Community Disruption. Unauthorized Gate Installed." I replied with 2 attachments: the updated parcel ownership from the county, a large sign reading, "Deer Private Property. Trespassers will be prosecuted." Within 24 hours, the HOA board called an emergency meeting. Rumors swirled across the neighborhood Facebook group. Someone claimed I was arming the woods. Another said I was booby-trapping the old yoga spot. Truth? I was just clearing invasive brush and posting signs. But I let them panic. They tried to send a community compliance officer to inspect it. He left when I showed him the no trespassing clause signed by the county. They sent a lawyer. I sent a drone. When they finally hired a lawyer to challenge my fencing, I sent over aerial drone footage showing clear boundary lines, no structures, no HOA rights. Their attorney didn't even file. But I wasn't done. You want a twist? I found a clause in their HOA trail maintenance policy that required public land access to fund their insurance. Without it, their entire trail budget was suspended. No land access meant no funding. No funding meant
The trail closed permanently. And that was just step one. Karen's nature walk? Straight into handcuffs. A week after I padlocked the trail, my motion alert camera pinged my phone.
There she was, Karen plus 2 board members ducking under my new fence at dawn, trekking in with yoga mats and a bolt cutter. They lasted 12 minutes. At 7:14 a.m., the county game warden, my old hunting buddy, and Deputy Alvarez arrived. I'd already texted the live GPS coordinates from my drone. Trespassing on posted land while carrying a cutting tool? Class 2 misdemeanor. Karen tried the classic defense. This was always public. We have historical access. Alvarez held up my deed. Not since last Tuesday, ma'am. Hands where I can see 'em. Flash frozen outrage makes a funny sound. I recorded it. Evidence, of course. The fine that bit them back. Trespass citation, $1,200 each. Criminal mischief, damaging fence, $1,800. Court fees and mandatory hunter safety course, $650. Total, $3,650 apiece, almost the exact amount of the hunting fine they'd slapped on me. But the real gut punch landed 2 days later, when their insurance carrier discovered the arrests. The carrier immediately voided the HOA's trail liability policy, a policy Karen herself had negotiated. No insurance equals no common area coverage equals special assessment. Homeowners woke up to a $900 emergency fee and pitchfork mood. Revolt at the clubhouse. At the next HOA meeting, the place was standing room only. I sat in back again, boots up, coffee in hand, while residents grilled Karen. Why did you lie about land boundaries? You told us the trail was protected. You cost us $1,000 because you hate hunting? Motion number 1, rescind my $4,000 fine, passed 31-0. Motion number 2, public apology and full legal costs reimbursed to me, passed 28-3. Motion number 3, immediate vote to remove Karen as president, unanimous. She walked out before the votes were tallied. Someone yelled, "Don't forget your yoga mat," turning the tables legally and perfectly. I had no interest in revenge beyond fairness, but opportunity knocked. A conservation nonprofit had offered to buy half my new acreage to create a wildlife corridor with a royalty clause for every public tour. I signed. Now, every Saturday, families pay a small fee, suggested donation, to hike guided paths, money that funds habitat restoration and covers my property taxes. The old HOA trail? Still closed. Their residents now drive 5 miles to reach my conservation gate. The irony delights me. The quiet woods stay quiet. Karen listed her house. Rumor says the view of hostile wilderness scared buyers. The HOA rewrote their bylaws, with my help, to forbid fines outside true boundaries. Deer season opened last month. I bagged a 10-point buck, legally, ethically, happily. Sometimes the simplest ammo isn't a rifle or a lawyer, it's a land deed and a lock. When people try to police the wilderness without owning a single acre, remind them. The map doesn't lie, and the gate keys jingle louder than any HOA pavel. Love seeing HOA bullies backfire and justice served on wild terrain? Smash that subscribe button for more epic takedowns every single week.